All right, let's get into it. Today, we are diving deep into the world of Python background tasks. We're going to focus on that classic, battle-tested pairing, Celery and Redis, and really explore the big question. How does it actually hold up in 2026? You know that feeling when your application just grinds to a halt? When you click a button to send an email, or generate a report, or upload a file, and you're just stuck staring at a loading spinner? Well, if that's happening, the answer to this question is a definite yes. You need to move that heavy work into the background.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the why this stuff is so important. Then we'll get into the industry standard, Celery and Redis, and cover its very real challenges. After that, we'll see how this old-school stack is adapting for the wild world of AI. And finally, we'll check out the modern alternatives to help you make the right call for your next project. Okay, let's start at the very beginning. What is a background task, really? And why is it so non-negotiable for pretty much any modern app you can think of?
In plain English, it's just work that you offload to be done later. This is huge because it frees up your main application to get right back to the user. It's the difference between a snappy, responsive experience and one that makes people want to close the tab.
And you see this pattern literally everywhere. It's for the simple stuff like sending out a welcome email when someone signs up. But it's also the absolute bedrock for powering the complex, long-running jobs that are super common in AI systems, like model inference or massive data processing pipelines.
For years, and I mean years, when a Python developer needed to run something in the background, the conversation pretty much started and ended with Celery and Redis. They are a classic pairing for a very good reason.
The easiest way to think about it is like this. Celery is the manager. It's the brains of the operation. It knows what work needs to be done, who's available to do it, and what to do if something goes wrong. Redis, on the other hand, is the super-fast post office. It's just a holding pen for those job tickets, handing them out to the next available worker with incredible speed.
Now, don't think this stack is just sitting around gathering dust. The latest Celery 5.6 release is all about making things more stable. For you, that means they finally squashed some critical memory leaks that could crash your workers in production. They've also beefed up security so you don't accidentally log your passwords. These aren't just minor tweaks. They're essential fixes for running this stuff at scale.
Meanwhile, Redis 8.0 was a huge leap forward. It's not just faster, which is great for a broker, but it added features that are built specifically for the AI era. The big one is native support for vector data. Now, what's that? Basically, it's a way to store information based on its meaning, not just its text. This is the magic that powers semantic search in modern AI apps, and now it's baked right into Redis. The key takeaway here is that this classic stack is still very much alive and kicking.
But despite all its power and history, using Celery today is not always straightforward. It comes with some significant, well-known traps that developers affectionately call foot guns, because they make it really easy to shoot yourself in the foot. And this is where it gets wild. This quote isn't from some angry blog post. It's from the official Celery documentation. Just let that sink in for a second. The creators are telling you, straight up, that they've prioritized making it easy to start over making it safe for production. And that design choice can lead to absolute disaster if you're not careful.
This slide right here, this is the most critical setting you need to know about. By default, the moment a worker grabs a task, it basically shouts back to the queue, "Got it, I'm done." But what happens if that worker crashes a millisecond later? Well, the task is gone. Poof, forever. The fix is a one-line change, setting acts late equals true. Now the task is only marked as done after it's finished successfully. If the worker dies, no problem. The job just goes back into the queue for someone else to try. It's the difference between losing customer data and building a resilient system. And you have to know to turn it on.
And the pain doesn't stop there. For modern Python devs, the lack of native async/await support is a huge one. It means if your task is just waiting for an API call, your entire worker process is just sitting there, twiddling its thumbs, wasting resources. Combine that with scheduled tasks that can blow up your worker's memory, old monitoring tools that leave you guessing, and no easy way to control how many tasks run at once, and, well, you can start to see why people are looking for other options.
So with all these challenges, how is this stack surviving? Well, the age of AI is forcing everything to adapt, and this combination is evolving in some really interesting ways to meet these totally new demands.
A super popular architectural pattern these days is the Brawn and Brawn model. The Brawn is your main app. It handles all the logic and orchestration. The Brawn is a fleet of powerful workers, often with GPUs, that do all the heavy lifting. And what sits in the middle? Celery. It's the essential communication glue that sends tasks from the smart brain to the powerful Brawn to do things like AI model inference.
And this is where Redis has become an absolute superstar. It's not just a message queue anymore. It's a cornerstone of production AI. That vector search feature we mentioned, that's the engine behind Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG. RAG is just the fancy term for giving a large language model access to your own private data so it can answer questions about your business, not just the public web. On top of that, Redis is used for semantic caching to save a ton of money on LLM API calls, and it even acts as a high-speed memory for AI agents. It's a whole new world for Redis.
So all of these new demands, plus all of Celery's pain points, have kicked the door wide open for a new generation of task queues. Many of them were built from the ground up for the way we write Python today, async first.
This table really captures the landscape perfectly. You've got Celery, the general-purpose workhorse, but with no native async and reliability that you have to bolt on yourself. Then you have something like Hatchet, which is built for async from day one, giving you way better performance for network-heavy tasks and observability that just works. And then, way over on the other side, you have Temporal. It's not just a queue, it's a full-on workflow engine with ironclad guarantees. This is for things like financial transactions, where losing even one event is simply not an option.
And the ecosystem is just buzzing with other options, each one trying to fix a specific Celery problem. You've got Task Queue, which is all about being lightweight and async. Dramatic, which is focused on being simpler and more reliable out of the box. And RQ, or Redis Queue, which is for folks who love Redis and just want a dead simple task queue without all of Celery's baggage.
Okay, so with all these tools on the table, how in the world do you choose the right one for your project today? It's definitely not as simple as it used to be.
Let's make this super concrete. Imagine your app uploads a temp file and schedules a task to delete it in an hour. A worker grabs that task, and then the server reboots. With Celery's defaults, that task is gone, and that file lives on your server forever, taking up space. But with ax_late equals true, the job just pops right back in the queue and another worker cleans it up later. Your system stays consistent. That's the level of thinking this requires.
So, it all boils down to asking the right questions before you start coding. How much does reliability matter? Can you afford to lose a single task? If the answer is no, you either need to lock down Celery with ax_late equals true, or seriously look at something like Temporal. Are your tasks mostly waiting for network calls? Then an async native queue like Hatchet is probably going to give you a massive performance win. So where does that leave us? Look, Celery and Redis are still a solid, powerful foundation. They're more stable and capable than ever. But the days of it being the automatic, no-brainer choice, those are over. The ecosystem has exploded with new tools built for the async, AI-driven world we live in now. The real question you have to ask yourself isn't just about power versus complexity. It's about whether you're picking a tool that just solves today's problem, or if you're choosing a foundation that's going to let you build whatever comes next.